Over the last 48 hours, the AI industry compressed a year's worth of updates into a single weekend, dropping 13 major model releases simultaneously. On the closed-source side, Anthropic rolled out Claude Opus 4.7, EXAI pushed Grok 4.3 into beta, and Microsoft overhauled their agent frameworks. But the open-source community answered immediately. The sharpest counterpunch came from the MIT-licensed GLM 5.1, a 754 billion parameter behemoth that actually outscored GPT 5.4 on baseline coding tasks. This density forces a very practical choice for developers. Do you keep renting intelligence by paying for APIs, or do you rack your own servers to run these models internally? The capability gap has effectively vanished. This quadrant chart plots model accessibility against capability. Look how the landscape has shifted. Open weights like GLM 5.1 and Gemma 4 now occupy the top right, directly mirroring closed models like Claude Opus 4.7 on the left. You are now looking at a pure financial and operational trade-off. You can either spend capital expenditure upfront on heavy local compute or bleed operational expenditure month to month on API calls. Chasing the highest benchmark score is obsolete. The defining challenge for tech leaders this year is committing to the deployment ecosystem that matches their specific constraints. Let's break down the first path, heavyweight open source. This category is defined by massive releases like the 754 billion parameter GLM 5.1 and MiniMax's new M2.7 Self-Evolving Agent. This comparison matrix shows system trade-offs. Running heavyweights requires massive compute input, large dedicated server clusters. This hardware investment pays off with maximum performance output for Tier 1 coding and autonomous workflows. However, the hidden cost is immense engineering friction, requiring deep DevOps expertise. You take on this technical burden for one main reason: data sovereignty. Because models like GLM 5.1 use highly permissive MIT and Apache licenses, you are completely insulated from sudden API price hikes, rate limits, or vendor lock-in. More importantly, your proprietary training data never leaves your internal servers. Deploying heavyweight open source makes sense strictly for organizations where absolute privacy and complete system control are worth the massive upfront hardware costs and ongoing maintenance. The second path takes the exact opposite approach: hyper-efficient small models. The standout in this category is Google's newly released Gemma 4. Despite a compact 31 billion parameter architecture, Gemma 4 outscores massive models. Its compute input registers barely anything. This translates to near zero setup friction, running directly on consumer-grade GPUs. The trade-off is versatility, resulting in a moderate but highly specific performance output. But thanks to its Apache 2.0 license, you can spin up thousands of instances for highly localized tasks without paying per token. The hyper-efficient tier proves that organizations no longer need to rely on massive, centralized servers for targeted, high-performance edge execution. That leaves the third and final category, proprietary ecosystems. We just saw Microsoft release their Agent Framework 1.0, which completely unifies semantic kernel and autogen under one roof. They are explicitly targeting enterprise tech leads who want stable, ready-to-use environments instead of raw, do-it-yourself customization. We're seeing a similar push across the board, with Anthropic launching Claude Design and Meta dropping Muse Spark, their first non-open weights model. Meta's decision to lock down Muse Spark represents a notable pivot away from their historically aggressive open-source strategy to capture enterprise spending. The cost structure is straightforward but continuous. Instead of hardware, you face high ongoing OpEx through monthly subscriptions and API fees. In exchange, you buy speed. You get rapid time to market with near zero setup friction, though you sacrifice privacy to external vendors. Proprietary ecosystems purposefully ask you to trade total infrastructure dependency and recurring operational costs for unmatched workflow velocity. So how do you actually choose between these three paths? Let's map it out. This decision tree flowchart outlines your first critical filter: data sensitivity. Proprietary data routes straight to local models like GLM 5.1. Next is resource allocation. Optimizing for speed, pay the premium for proprietary ecosystems like Microsoft. Budget conscious with edge compute, deploy Gemma 4. The concept of a universally best AI model is dead. Success depends entirely on matching the model license to your specific operational budget and timeline. But whatever you decide to do today, the variables are about to change again over the next 7 days. Tomorrow's Google Cloud Next event serves as the enterprise hyperscaler's direct counterweight to this week's immense open-source pressure. Google Cloud Next and the upcoming Dev 26 conference are the ultimate test of whether hyperscalers can reclaim the narrative, or if open-source performance has reached a level where proprietary APIs are no longer the default choice for the enterprise.